Today we're going to talk about foreign exchange data in your ERP system or systems, how to understand it, extract it, validate, etc. It's a big challenge for a lot of folks dealing with foreign exchange and ERP systems not exactly having out-of-the-box reports that are all that useful from an FX risk manager's perspective. So ERP such as SAP, Oracle, any of the ERPs, they don't really have out-of-the-box reports that have all that transactional currency detail that you need. They'll typically already be in US dollars or maybe the functional currency of an entity, but lacking that transactional currency detail. And if you try to get that information from your ERP, you might be overwhelmed with how much data you end up having. So this is a challenge for a lot of folks, getting that information out and then having it digestible and easy to understand. So Atlas knows how to get this information out of your ERP system or multiple systems, and we know how to play it back to you in a digestible manner, in an organized manner. So the first challenge is getting all that transactional currency flows and understanding once we have, during a typical deployment, we know your functional currency for every entity, we know what changes to make to the ERP reports to get that information out, and then we broadcast that information back to you. And then we can show it to you by, in any way you need to slice and dice and drill down. So in this first chart, I'll show an example. This is just an all entity view and showing your net monetary asset details by currency. You can have by currency pair. In this case, I'm assuming a US dollar functional environment for this particular data set. So all these currencies are exposures on the balance sheet. So you can drill down into the net monetary asset details. You can see some drill downs here into the receivables account and into some payables accounts. So all the way down to the account level detail. And you can also drill down into, beyond the all entity view, you can drill down to the specific entities. So however you want to see your data, you can see it. So the first step is getting that ERP data and being able to see it in an understandable way. But then beyond that, you also want to be able to validate and make sure that that data makes sense and is accurate. And there's a few challenges that folks have with their ERP data when it comes to the foreign exchange transactional detail. A lot of folks run into ghost balance issues and fear that they have a garbage in, garbage out problem with their ERP data. Going on to the next slide, ghost balances are usually the result of something not being cleared out correctly. So you might have a transaction that's cleared out in the functional currency, but not in the transaction currency. And so that residual balance in the transactional currency remains, and once the rates change, that's going to be remeasuring incorrectly because that balance should not be there. We know how to identify those balances. We can see where there's transactional currency amounts that have not closed out where the functional currency has, and identify those potential ghost balances and eliminate them from your balance sheet. So that can help a lot during an initial cleanup phase and an ongoing integrity check on the remeasurement process itself in the ERP data. Other folks have challenges that have daily rates in understanding the remeasurement because when you have a daily rate, you'll have sort of this weighted average rate of activity for the month for everything that goes on and off your balance sheet. And that rate can change. It's going to differ by different accounts, different entities, depending on the activity and what's going on that period. And it can be challenging to understand what that remeasurement should be. We know how to get that weighted average rate detail at every level, account level, entity level, etc. at the company, and validate the remeasurement from that. So when you have remeasurement, you have things that have been on the balance sheet the entire month, and that's pretty straightforward. It's just going to remeasure from the prior month end to the new month end. But everything else in a daily rate environment, you'll have the issue about that weighted average rate of activity remeasuring to the month end. So we know how to get that, and that's really important in validating and understanding your ERP data. So with that, you'll have a lot more success in your whole balance sheet hedging process.